Hi and welcome. So today I want to share with you a little bit more about the triggers that you might come across this holiday season as an emotional eater. So if you're new here, welcome. My name is Michelle. I'm a certified holistic nutritionist and emotional eating expert. And I wanted to share with you where you might be triggered into your emotional eating this time of year. Whenever it's the holidays and it's super busy, there's a lot of stress, there's a lot of get-togethers, a lot of food, there's a lot of things going on, and so there can be a lot of triggers into your emotional eating. It gets very busy and chaotic, and so emotional eating is what we do whenever we want to soothe ourselves from any discomfort or distress that comes up in our life. It's a coping mechanism. It's not getting into the root. And so if year after year you find you're just emotionally eating more and more around the holidays and times of stress, you go back on that diet in January, it's important that you start noticing what your triggers are. And so triggers are just the starting point to accessing what might be going on for your emotional eating. And it is a key and important area inside of the emotional eating evolution program. And so when I work with clients, a big part of the program is really noticing our triggers around when we're triggered into our emotional eating. And so a great way to see when we're triggered into our emotional eating is when we are feeling out of control around food, when we're going towards food, we're obsessing about food. That's going to give us an indicator of something else that's going on under the surface. And so there are different types of triggers that could be happening this time of year. And so I'm going to outline them according to the different phases of the emotional eating evolution program, which are true nourishment, body acceptance, and emotional wellness, just to give you an idea of what to be looking out for. So around true nourishment, how you can be triggered into emotional eating is that if you haven't really resolved the underlying emotional eating pattern and you are exposed to more and more foods and treats, you might find yourself blindly eating out of social anxiety, out of just, eating in a way that's not truly nourishing your body. You might decide to starve yourself for the first part of the day, and then you're triggered into more binging. And just because there's so much more high stress and more people around, you're going to be going towards those foods more and more. So around this time of year, because of the high stress and because of just an exposure to so much more different types of foods, you might feel you can't control everything. And it's not about controlling externally. It's about really going deeper into the pattern you have around food. If you're using food to soothe and you're in uncomfortable social situations with food, you're going to be eating more and more of the food unless you start creating a healthier relationship to the food you're eating and really digging in and resolving that emotional eating pattern under the surface. So you might try to avoid social settings, and it's not about avoiding. Once you heal your emotional eating pattern, you don't have to avoid social settings with food because you'll be able to have that healthier relationship to it. The second area is all around your body. Because there's so much more going on, there's so much more stress, you might push aside the rituals that your body needs because you're short on time. You might not be having the movement that you need or the rest that you need. You might be feeling out of control with food, and you might be extreme, with the movement in your body and saying, I ate too much, I'm going to punish myself or push myself at the gym, and have this really unhealthy relationship, and that negative self-talk about your body starts playing in. This is really triggering because you might also be thinking of January when you're going to, join the gym and feel better. And this is just playing into this pattern again. Instead of really noticing what your body needs day to day, you are just sort of extreme and pushing it and probably trying to, with limited time, trying to go to all of these different obligations. And this is going to stress your body out, and any increase in stress disrupts our mood and pushes us into the emotional eating pattern. So this is a time of a lot of stress. We might have a lot of physical stress. We might be pushing past our limits. If there are get-togethers and staying up later than we normally would, this is going to push us into more emotional eating, more hunger cues. The third area is all around emotional wellness, and this is going to be the most important area. So what are we doing with those uncomfortable emotions that come up? Are we just stuffing them with food? When, during this time of year, we're around more family or friends or just more people in general, it doesn't mean those relationships are necessarily healthy. There's just so much going on. People have a lot of busy schedules, and so they don't take the time to really acknowledge and see what emotions are coming up and what's really triggering their emotional eating. So again, emotional eating is when we have any discomfort or distress coming up, we go towards food to soothe. And so in these moments where we might be triggered more emotionally directly by those in our family, we don't know what to do with it. And so we reach for food, whether it's around us or not, we'll search it out. And so this puts us back into this shame spiral of feeling out of control. And if we don't know how to resolve that pattern, the deeper root pattern of the emotional eating, which is the result of something unresolved, and trauma, which is an unresolved event in our life, lives in our body. We need to resolve it at this level. When we're able to do that, then we can move through the pattern, and we'll be better able to handle those triggering emotional situations, because we now know how to move through that, because most likely we weren't modeled how to be with our emotions and our discomfort, and we needed to cope and use food as a band-aid. And so if you notice, any type of stress in this time of year is very stressful. There's more things to do. There's more people. There's just more triggers in general. There's more food. There's just so much more pushing the limits. This is going to shift us and push us into our emotional eating pattern even more. And so there are so many triggers, and becoming more and more aware of your triggers is great. And sometimes what we do at first is we just avoid everything, but it's not about avoiding. It's about really resolving this pattern to see what you naturally want to do. Maybe you do love get-togethers and you just need to resolve this deeper pattern around it. Or you can go to, you love to socialize, but you need to be able to have that healthy relationship to food. So it's going to be different for everyone. And when my clients, when they work through the emotional eating evolution program before the holidays, or, they're in the program during the holidays, not after the fact, they move through the holidays with so much more ease. They're so much more connected to food, their body, and their emotions. And if, they're just so much more better able to be in situations where they don't feel they have to restrict or just go off the rails. They have a healthier relationship to food. They just feel more, I don't want to say more in control. They just feel good around food and in their body. And so this is important because life is going to happen. There are going to be situations and get-togethers. We want to have the tools to be able to move through that effortlessly. And so they don't feel out of control, and they don't feel like they did in the years in the past. And what they're doing at this deeper level is resolving this pattern. And so they're not waiting for the holidays to come to trigger them. They're actively committing to resolving the pattern from the root. They're not looking for a tip or a trick. There's no tip or trick that's going to get you out of emotional eating. There's no magic bullet or pill. It's a process. And as we move through it, you're going to feel more empowered and able to better handle these situations. And so you're not going to be running to the gym or the latest diet in January. You're going to already have all the tools in place. And so this is why the emotional eating evolution program is so amazing for clients, because they have so much support, they have guidance, they have a step-by-step plan, they have accountability, and they have the tools and the support to go deeper into the pattern so they resolve it at the root. So it's not running the show, it's not running their life, it's not controlling them, and they can enjoy these times of the year, these holidays, these get-togethers, vacations, and feel good about it. So this is, something to really think about if you haven't been resolving your emotional eating. Don't wait to be triggered during the holidays. Be active about it. Have a plan in place, have support in place so that you can move through the holidays with so much more ease and not let yourself sort of be at the whim of what's going on, of your old patterns, of the old way of yo-yoing in and out of the situation, and then feeling awful in the new year. That's not a great way to start the new year. So if what I'm saying is resonating with you and you do recognize you get all of these different triggers around the holidays, I would love to invite you to check out more about the Emotional Eating Evolution Program. This is what we do. We move through these triggers. We help you resolve them and give you the tools to really move forward in a powerful way so that you start feeling confident and at ease in your body and around food. You're not derailed even during such a busy time. So you can find out more about the program. I'll put the link below. And if you would like to apply to the program, you can also book in an emotional eating assessment call. So on the call, we find out more about you, what your goals are, and if we can support you in reaching them. So I'll put that link below as well. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and I look forward to sharing more with you, and I hope you have a great day.